The midday sun blazed high above Costa del Sol, the golden shoreline shimmering under its relentless heat. Waves rolled in, hissing against the pale sand before retreating back into the turquoise sea. Seabirds wheeled lazily overhead, their calls thin against the rush of the wind. The scent of salt and warm stone hung heavy in the air, mingled with the faint aroma of grilled food drifting from the boardwalk. Two figures stood apart on the beach, both dressed not for a battlefield, but for a summer's day. Cloud Strife's sleeveless black swim vest clung to his shoulders, the fabric darkened by a thin sheen of seawater, while dark swim trunks hung just above his knees. Across from him, Tifa Lockhart stood in the shallows, her white bikini catching the light with every movement, straps snug against her shoulders, the gentle wind teasing at her hair. Their attire seemed at odds with the tension in the air, a fight on sand, under sun. Dressed for the sea, the wind shifted, carrying a faint roar from distant waves, and in that instant both moved. Cloud lunged forward, the massive Buster sword looking even more incongruous in his swimwear, the sunlight flashing along its edge. Sand exploded beneath his bare feet, grains scattering in the wake of his momentum. Tifa slipped sideways, her bikini top gleaming briefly as she spun away, surf splashing up around her calves. She countered with a rapid series of kicks, the wet fabric of her swimsuit darkened from the spray. Cloud blocked, the clang of his bracer against her strikes echoing sharply across the beach. The movement drew fresh water across his trunks, droplets sliding down onto the sand. He pressed forward, forcing her toward the waterline. The sea answered with a crashing wave, spraying them both. His vest clung tighter to his chest. Her bikini straps glistened in the sunlight. Tifa slid low on the slick sand, water swirling around her thighs, her fist driving upward toward Cloud's midsection. He caught the blow on the flat of his blade, the impact rattling through him. Sunlight glinted off water streaming from his swimwear as he recovered. He shifted his grip, swinging down in a heavy arc. Tifa leapt backward into shin-deep surf, the foam curling around her legs, droplets scattering off the line of her bikini. The blade buried itself in the sand, sending a tremor through the ground. She darted in while he recovered, her fists moving in rapid bursts, each punch accompanied by the flutter of her wet hair and the stretch of her swimsuit straps. Cloud deflected where he could, each parry sending a fine spray of seawater from his soaked trunks. The tide surged again, swirling around their legs. Every step became a battle against the shifting ground beneath them. Cloud's swings carved the air with audible force, his vest rippling loosely at the shoulders. Tifa moved with the rhythm of the surf, her bikini catching flashes of light as she ducked and spun, striking in quick, precise bursts. A sharp spin kick sent her briefly airborne, the twist revealing the curve of her shoulder in the sunlight before she landed in the shallows. Cloud ducked the strike, his sword sweeping low. The flat of the blade caught her mid-turn, knocking her sideways into the surf. She rolled with the impact, water streaming down her swimsuit as she sprang upright. They circled again, the ocean marking the tempo of their movements. The crowd at the boardwalk had fallen silent, watching the strange, almost surreal clash of warriors in beach attire. Cloud's bare feet dug trenches in the wet sand as he advanced again. Tifa stayed just out of reach, her white bikini a bright flash against the pale shore, reading every shift in his weight. The opening came when a large wave broke behind them, sending a burst of water over both. Cloud's view blurred for a heartbeat. Tifa surged forward, droplets flying from her shoulders and arms, striking toward his ribs and knee in quick succession. He staggered, recovered, and swept his sword low. She vaulted over it, twisting in midair, water flinging from her legs, and came down with a hammering punch that landed in the sand inches from his head. Breathing hard, they reset their distance. Sunlight dipped lower, glinting off the sheen of water on their swimwear. Cloud's vest clung heavily to his chest, Tifa's bikini straps set taut against her skin, and the faint wind tugged at both. The next exchange came with no hesitation, a final rush of sand, spray, and steel. Swimsuit fabric darkened with water, muscles tensed, and the clash rang out over the roar of the waves. When it ended, the only sound was the ocean's endless rhythm, the shoreline littered with crisscrossing footprints and the gleam of wet swimwear. In the dying light,